Hey guys, it's Keith from Kinvert, and I'm going to be showing you how to move Cozmo's lift with Python. So first let's get a quick demo of what he's going to do. So normally you can just run the code and he'll slowly raise his arm and then suddenly drop it. Okay, and then there's a kind of funny version of this that you can do. So you just do it again and then we'll just push the cube under and then it'll do a wheelie like that. So yeah, I'm going to basically transition now to showing you guys the code, how you can find it, and how you can do this yourself. Okay, so first of all, before I switch over, this is going to assume that you already have the SDK installed and that you know how to put the code in the IDE, that you know how to execute the code. This is assuming that. This is not instructions for how to install the SDK. So now that I've got that done, let's switch over and show you guys the code and I'll walk you through how it works. Okay, so here we are on the website, kinvert.com, and we have this how to move Cozmo's lift article. And basically it'll talk about why you might want to do it. So there's different things you can do with his lift. We talk about, what command are we going to use. And then we get down to the code. And so long story short, you can just copy this, copy and paste it. If you're a business or education, just please ask for permission. We haven't said no yet, but it's nice to have people ask for that sort of thing. So the first thing that we do is we import Cozmo, and what this allows us to do is run the Cozmo run program function here, and that's what gives us access to the lift and everything else. So we need that. That's part of what you get with the SDK. We also import time, and what this is doing is giving us the time sleep functions here. And so this is saying to basically move his lift slowly for those 3 seconds. Okay, so that's what the time module is doing. Next we define our function. Our function is the Cozmo lift function. Alright, and finally here, this is actually kind of the first thing that happens in a way. We run cozmo.runProgram, and that runs our Cozmo lift function up here. Okay, so this basically connects to Cozmo, does all the connection, and then passes that connection into here. So it runs the Cozmo lift function and passes the connection to the robot into here. You don't have to memorize what this does, but essentially it's just saying set robot equal to this. Alright, so now we have the ability to say robot.moveLift, and we could use others if we wanted to as well. We could be saying robot.drive straight, robot.turn in place. So there's a lot of different things that you could do with that, but in this one we're just moving the lift. So now that we've got the robot and the connection set up, we can just say robot.moveLift, and we're telling it 0.25. This is in radians per second. If you don't know what that is, that's totally fine. This is kind of a trigonometric thing here, although it's also in physics and dynamics and everything. But basically we're just saying it to move at a certain angular speed. This is a low angular speed. And so we move at that low positive angular speed, so he's going to lift up, and we do that for 3 seconds. Next, we move his lift very quickly down. So as quickly as we can move it down, we move it down, and we just say do that for a second, right? That's what's doing it. So when we run this code, it just makes the imports so that it finds the functions we need. It slowly raises his lift for 3 seconds, and then it quickly drops his lift for 1 second. And really it moves quicker than that, but we're basically limiting it to 1 second here. That's basically it, right? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And then yeah, if you scroll down, you'll see some other articles that we have that could be useful to you. In particular, let's see, Age to Teach Kids Python could be a good one. And the Cozmo examples. If you're looking for more things that you can do with Cozmo in the SDK, we've got that. So let's take a look here. So here we are at the Cozmo examples page, and we go over all these different functions. So here's the move lift one, right? If you clicked on that, you'd be right where we were. We could see pop a wheelie, which we essentially just did. And so here's another thing that we wrote. So here's where he's popping a wheelie. Here we're using that command. And do we ever have him doing it manually? Apparently not. So you can manually have him pop a wheelie instead of just using the function, right? Remember, so we're importing Cozmo, running a program like before. This time we called it Kinvert Wheelie. Here it is. We import this robot thing from here, right? So we've got the connected robot. That's an argument. It's basically, I think, called an annotation. And it's like a typing. It's setting up a type of robot. From this, I think, this is like a class within the SDK. So anyway, we don't need to go into that. We can just say robot.popWheelie. Boom, we can just pop a wheelie directly. instead of writing out move the lift up and then move the lift down. And by the way, Papa Wheelie will drive to the cube, which is kind of cool. So that's something we might go over another time. But for now, this is Keith signing out. Check out the description below where we will have a link to the article where you can copy the code. Thanks a lot. Bye.